All right, so Love is Blind reunion. I think these have a reputation of frustrating most viewers. I think last year it was y'all tried to go live and fucked it up. This year is y'all made us wait till 9 p.m. and and a lot of fluff there's a lot of fluffing. But let's dive into the drama, the stuff that we love. So, who wants to lead us in a cheers?
Yes.
A Leo cheers? I can't remember anything he says, but
Let's do it.
yeah, I think we just jump right in. And I think we need to. Last week was a little different. It was just us talking about reunion looks, but there's still so much we really need to finish up with Tyler and Ashley. I think we should jump right into that. So they're still married. She had a ring on. She's standing by her man. What did you guys think about everything that was said tonight?
I am happy for them. I think that I knew that there was a lot. And actually, let me backtrack. Because, last week we didn't get to talk. And I'm not going to lie, Nora, you asked a question that got me a little heated.
Uh-oh.
We had to, put the brakes on the car and chat. Because you had asked if Ashley goes through with this, knowing what we know and what we saw, what kind of a woman is she? And I quote. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard for me to answer that question, because I think the issue is with a lot of these shows, we don't really get to see not even half of the conversations that they have. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm all right, that was a little harsh of a question. As a listener, I don't know how to answer that, because I want to like them. I want, I was rooting for them, but to say that you have a sperm donor, maybe a little bit was that I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yes, there's a lot we don't know, so I don't want to judge her too harshly. But something still doesn't sit right with me with the whole situation. And I think it's because I don't know the whole story. So I wish that it would have just been brought up differently. Because at this point, I don't think he's a sperm donor anymore. So I don't think he should have worded it that way. So
I told Raquel, there's only one way that this could play out where he's just not a total fucking douchebag. And it's if he's just taking the abuse, laying low, because he actually does care about these kids and he doesn't want to put it all out there. And it seems like it was some of that. And I think from what we learned at the reunion tonight, the mistake was wanting to have your cake and eat it too. He obviously didn't want to put all of this information out there on the show. And she kind of well, we're going to have to talk about some of it on the show, but we're not going to talk about all of it. And you can not reveal certain things. And so you gave us half a story and let us as an audience fill in the blanks. And sorry, man, we're going to assume the worst a lot of times because, and part of it is bias, there's black men and how they treat their kids. We don't want to believe that, but I know America is just oh, is another deadbeat dad or something like that. Or Latino men, we get this too. And he's oh, is another man. And we don't want to believe in that, but then we fill in these blanks. And so I think it didn't do them justice not to hide certain things and then reveal certain things. If you didn't want to say you had babies on the show and you just want to keep it private, you got to tell your wife to be, I don't want to reveal this right now or ever. But then you don't go on television with these kind of deep, dark secrets. So, yeah. I'm sorry the picture got painted the way it did, but they didn't do any favors for themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't even know
Go ahead.
I don't even know if I still believe everything. I feel it seems kind of scripted in a way when it was rehearsed. Their whole conversation they had with Nick, how it was brought up and how he was talking about it. It feels like it was rehearsed, he's practiced a lot of times and saying it. I feel and I was talking to her about this, I said, what if he just didn't want the kids to be, brought up or searched, because how social media is. But if that was the case, then like you said, they shouldn't have brought it up at all. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the baby mama or whoever might have said something, but like you said, if we are left to our own imaginations and we fill it in with stereotypes and biases, and then we run with it, and then they start getting all this flack, and you know, rightfully so, it might not be, you know, it's none of our business, but at the same time, it is if you're putting your life on TV for everybody to see, then you know. So I feel like if he could have went about it a better way, but it kind of seems as if she found out some things and she was like, no, it has to, she doesn't want to look like a fool, so she was like, we have to at least say this, because she didn't have to bring it up at all. Like it felt,
Right.
if so now her saying that feels like she kind of forced the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe he told her about some things in private, but she's like, no, it needs to come on online so people don't think I'm stupid or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we think if this scenario is right across the board for all three of you, we think these three children, when they grow up and they hear this woman and man rehearse being called sperm donor babies, is probably the best way they could have, two adults could have handled this, is call these children who are not sperm donor babies. Maybe the intention originally was he was going to help his friend, but then he steps in, he puts his name on the birth certificate. All three kids have his last name, not either one of the women's names. So at some point after one, they realized, hey, we're going to keep doing this, and he is going to be a vital part. So when we go on the show, and I'm going to tell my soon to be wife, hey, I have these three kids, and is it her then that says call them sperm babies, or is it him? Because somebody
Mhm.
who made that call when all three kids have his last name. He's on the birth certificate. Now maybe they did that for whatever. I don't care if it even is the truth that they were legitly sperm donor kids. It's just how could you call those children? I don't know. It's just gross. It's like, I don't know, if a kid was born out of surrogacy, you call it, that's a surrogate baby. Like, no, it's a baby. Like, they're still children. And that's where I'm like, I know all I need to know about Ashley just by what I've seen. I don't need to fill in the gaps because
The yeah,
that
Yeah.
would
the
be
thing that
if
was off.
I couldn't do it.
The thing that was off was the question that, or the thing that we all kind of pinpointed as like super weird, or it was a straight up lie. We all knew it was a straight up lie. Where is like, where she asked him, "Do they know what you look like?" And he's like, "I don't think so." And she came out today. It's like, "Oh, I knew that was a lie. He told me off camera what the situation was, but for the camera, he didn't want to reveal that." Why would you like? Why would you let him rock with that, or like even bring it up then? Why would
Seriously.
you ask him
Yeah.
that question for him to trip up on it and just make him look bad? It was like it was handled so poorly. And you're right, Nora, that when these kids grow up, and I hope they don't see this or they're told like just skip that. You know, your Auntie Ashley. Just remember her the way that if she's around
Yeah.
in their life, remember her that way, not on the show or your dad, because it was messy. It was, and yeah, I
It
don't think we
it
still know the whole truth,
it
but
made me feel worse about her after tonight because I was like, so what he's saying is, yeah, I did see him and I told her the truth. But now we decided we're gonna present it this way. So are you telling him like now you're not gonna have any role in these kids' lives? Because social media, it's gonna get out. I mean, he was posting these kids and everything, and I'm all for if you wanted to protect these kids. But then you should have came on the show and said, look, I have a great, relationship with their mother. We're handling this off, but we know that's not true. We know that the kids have been asking for him and she's been trying to get in contact with him for a year because they miss him and they want to have, re, you know, he did step up at some point, whether it started as sperm baby, whatever, he stepped up and started filling a role of whether it's uncle, daddy, whatever the hell it is. He wanted to play a part in their lives. And now he's like, deuces, I'm out. Is that because Ashley doesn't want you around? Is that because you don't want to be around and she's supporting that now you just want to dip out of these kids' lives? I don't know. It's weird.
Let,
Yeah.
It's
let
Yeah,
me.
I agree.
I have a quick narrative I want to spin because I was just thinking about this. What if it happened? Maybe that conversation wasn't necessarily rehearsed. The first one they had, in it. What if she found out and she wanted it on air to kind of cover herself, and she wasn't even sure if she was going to stay with him or not at that point. So when she was asking him these questions, it was, kind maybe they did talk about it offline, but she probably didn't want to be with him, so she wanted to make known that this is what we're, discussing about. And then later on, she kind of accepted him again.
Well, I mean, that's not fair to him. And like, I understand you go on a show, a reality show, and you want to tell your truth. But if he wasn't ready to tell his truth on camera, you also shouldn't force it so that you don't look stupid for like being in a relationship with him. Because I think at that point, to Nora's point, is like, was she doing this so that she doesn't look stupid later when like the TikTok detectives find all this stuff out? It's just like, because it's when that first conversation first aired, it looked like they had either just got an argument or something, but we knew that there was a whole 24 hours that like something happened that we just didn't know. And to me, it seemed like they were continuing some kind of argument. But now we know it wasn't that. Now we know that they had a conversation off camera. She knew the truth, and then she put him in this position where like he wasn't ready. He was not ready to tell that story, and that's not fair to him.
Not fair. I mean,
it's not.
He hid it for a while, so it's not fair to her either.
From us or from her?
From Ashley. He told. I mean, they went.
What's a while when they just met 10 days ago?
It's not. Well, I know. That's the experiment. I mean, you have to tell in the pods. To me, is hey, if I'm gonna propose, you got to know I donated sperm. There's these 3 kids. They're involved in their life. They're my kids. I'm not their father, but I am in their life. Like you gotta bring that up in the pods before you propose to somebody. Point blank. You just got it.
I agree. It should have been brought up way earlier.
But
I think it should have been brought up when he was ready to bring it up, because
that's not fair to her. She's saying yes to marry this guy, and then
right. Okay. Yeah. She's saying yes. Because I feel like right now they haven't said yes. They said yes to a potential marriage, but they haven't actually said yes, because then they have
a proposal. That's every proposal,
Oh yeah, well that's true.
And then you just robbing him of the choice too, like of meetings of meeting somebody that doesn't have kids. Maybe kids is a deal breaker for her. So now you're not telling her until after the pod. You just robbed her chance.
Okay, I got it.
But it is icky to tell him you have to tell this story. If you didn't want to tell about your kids on camera, but now I'm going to make you, because when I potentially break up with you, I want to look justified or whatever. That feels very icky and just like
or
not
like
cool.
If you knew you were going to put him on camera saying it, ask the questions that like aren't going to put him in this weird, like, do they know what you look like? Ask him something else. Ask him, have you, something else that you could tell how uncomfortable he was.
Yeah.
That question though.
One said that was she kind of made it seem like that was scripted. So I'm like, so that was the best that was the best you came up with, that they don't know what you look like, when you know damn well maybe she didn't, maybe she did. We don't know how much she's covering.
Which is, it's also a weird way to ask it. It's also like, do they know your facial? No, have you met them? Like, are you in their life? And
I just feel like, okay, he said we're really close friends. Okay, well, my really close friends, if I'm helping them have a baby, that probably means, I mean, we see it in, like when couples have a hard time getting pregnant, sometimes they use a best friend. Just because the best friend carries the baby doesn't mean they dip out after that. They're there, but there's a very sound, like, oh, here's your baby, I'm out, never talk to you again. Yeah, like typically, unless
you want to go to brunch, are the kids gonna be there?
Like, like, I don't know. It feels, and I'm not saying I know the whole thing. There's probably a lot more, and I necessarily don't know if it's fully Ashley. I think she's taking more of the brunt than she really should, just based off of other things he was saying that, like, and I stopped it and had to tell Victor, as somebody who went through many years of therapy, there's certain things I learned that are not the popular opinion with couples, and things he was saying, I was like, oh, this is how abusive relationships, like, how they stay abusive. Like, what he's saying is to convince her, like, you can't leave me. This is unconditional love. But we know in an adult relationships that are partnerships, it's not my child, there are conditions within love. So yeah, you love your partner unconditionally, but there are conditions. if you're a bad
Mm-hmm.
partner, if you're a liar, if you're a cheater, if you're an abuser.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
different with
And
your
I'm
child. Your child could be
yeah.
abusive, a drug addict, anything, and you're going to love that kid. Partnership isn't unconditional. There are some conditions.
I I found I'm glad you brought this up because this is one of the notes that I had. I found his 5-minute spiel about unconditional love so cringe because you couldn't really say why you love this person. You couldn't say like, I love her kindness, I love her community service, and what she. It's all about like, I never knew unconditional love. Unconditional love feels so great, and he just said it like 3 times, 3 different ways, and I'm like, you haven't said anything with substance of why you love this woman. It was just like basic, like when you ask a high schooler, oh, why do you love
Hmm.
your prom date? Like, what? There was no thing with substance. I felt. I don't know. Do high schoolers love each other? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm like 20 years gone. But let's give these folks 2 more minutes and then we can move on.
Yeah,
Any
I
last thoughts, guys?
I got the it. That's all.
Aside from the situation, they do look happy.
Hmm.
I think just don't come at the fans. If you lie to us, we're not gonna believe you.
Yeah.
Point blank. So
Right.
sorry, we don't believe you. It's unfortunate that we fill in the blanks with some
Whatever
nasty
we wanted.
details sometimes, whatever we want, but it is what it
But
is. You
unfortunately, we're not really filling them with too many blanks because of social media. And like he said, they're pulling birth certificates, and they are. And I'm not saying that's right. It's sick. It's
yeah.
gross. I don't agree with that. I don't think people should necessarily be airing birth certificates and stuff. Those kids have a right to privacy. It's not their fault that he is who he
Yeah.
is, or like,
Yeah,
or who she
getting
is,
doxxed like
and
that. It's not good.
yeah, I don't even know if their mother, like, maybe she's a huge part of like this whole thing too, in on it. Who knows? It's not their fault,
Yeah.
like, so, but at the end of the day, to me, to sum it up, I'm just gonna say Tyler and Ashley give me the ick. I hope we see a turnaround that he's back in those kids' lives, supporting them, maybe not as a father figure, but as uncle or whatever he's referred to, because obviously those kids know him. He's part of the family, he's spending holidays with them. I don't see why just because you went on the show, you're gonna dip out of their lives completely.
I just do want to say I don't agree with what the mother is doing, using those kids as public leverage against
Hmm.
to tear this guy down, whether deserving or not. I don't agree with what she's doing either.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's real messy.
she's not coming out nice in this either.
Because at the end of the day, the kids suffer the most out of all of this. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
but we
to
wish
me,
them
why
luck
the only
though,
reason
and
I don't like them is for the kids' sake.
good luck to them, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Hope to see you
Or
not on the
not.
couch at next reunion.
We don't
Those
really
are
care if
horrible.
they
I
come
hated
back.
those life updates. Those are
I,
hard to
I
watch.
mean,
I just
but can you imagine this couple without those kids? They have no storyline. I mean, what else do we know? We have
Mm.
magical communication. They have nothing. They're the most boring couple on the stage potentially without this whole drama. So
Yeah.
we don't see
Well, that's
Ace.
that's the dirty secret about Love is Blind. Is like when you find good couples, yeah, you're happy for them, but you don't want to see them ever again on TV. And that's what happened tonight with the people on the couch. It's not that I dislike Zach and
I can't remember
Blitz.
him. Yeah,
Bliss,
Blitz.
Bliss.
but it's not interesting. It's not, Garrett and Taylor, super happy for them. Taylor seems like a cool chick, but I don't know. Okay,
The fashion's
great.
not interesting to you. He likes fashion now, and he can express it.
Listen, on the fit last week, I do like the fit, but I didn't like the super baggy thing. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not into the super baggy thing, but y'all covered the fashion immaculately. I had no notes except for that one. It's like I don't know the bagginess. It's like I like a nice tailor jacket. Come on, and he's a fit guy. He's got the nice hair. I'm jealous of that, but man, we don't have to go all Kanye with it with the super baggy stuff.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, I think now we can start talking about the boy who became the man because of the amazing Hannah and Nikki D. What were your thoughts on this wonderful couple.
I think I understand Nicole on the challenge more than I understand when Hannah's speaking. I don't understand what she's saying.
Damn.
And what and I'm like, it sounds like she's at an auction. It's just like,
She talks
You
so
know what I
fast.
mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Right? You know what I mean?
like.
I'm just really direct, and you know, and I'm also very
And I'm working on myself.
Shut the fuck up.
And then why did she act out of breath constantly? Like, oh, right, girl, yeah, good job.
She was so
Because she was sucking it all in. She was sucking it all, the whole
My
the whole
favorite
show.
part of Hannah was watching AD like enjoy the humor and watching Hannah was watching AD be like all her faces
Laughing at
and
her.
stuff. Yeah, and the like hitting people and but yeah.
like.
Yeah, zesty Marshall next to her.
I hate. Wait, who's Esty Marshall?
The guy that
Would
was
you
sitting
like to
next
know?
AD.
Oh
got
my
it.
God, Marshall.
Yeah, he's on the sus radar.
Interesting. So I really hate when people who are truly just like fundamentally mean use like I'm a bitch, like I'm just a bitch as an excuse. It's like, no, you're just a very unkind human. You're not a bitch. Like you can be direct and still be kind. You can still say things differently. And I don't know what she's working on that made her cry. Like, I've been working on this for a whole year. Like, what?
You were
exactly?
working on your fucking excuses, and it still sucked.
They were horrible.
Yeah, but like poor Nick. I don't know. If it seems like she gets away with a lot, because even Marissa was like, she's mean to me, but like she's cool, and it's like, so what? Like, you shouldn't be her friend if she's so mean. I don't know. She seems to be getting away with a lot of shit. Like,
I
no
don't
one
think so.
wants to-
I think everybody reads through the bullshit.
I think she's getting a lot of hate online too.
As she should. I mean, no one that mean should we should let it slide. It was very cruel. She was cruel. There's a difference.
I think her saying she's direct is bullshit. Directness isn't writing little notes on a little piece of paper and putting them on a table, hoping somebody finds them. Direct isn't telling a story and manipulating the shit out of it, or like making something bigger than it is. That's just lying or exaggerating. That's not direct. So she has this idea of like, oh, if I call somebody names, that it's direct and I'm just getting to my point. It's like, no, you're actually like, all that is extra bullshit that you're putting on something to hide your actual feelings around something. That's actually not direct. She's painting this picture that she's just like a strong, confident, even though she says she's insecure, but she's this strong woman who says what's on her mind. It's like, no, you don't. You actually say everything except what you actually mean. And it shows. Nobody buys it. So this whole time you're talking shit down on Nick because the whole time you felt like he was too good looking for you. But whether you agree with that or not, that's how she felt. And everything she says, well, I know more about finances. I'm more mature than you. I got my life together more than you, is all hiding the fact that the whole time you were insecure about your looks. All right.
My favorite
Now
part, and I mean, I know on the one of the podcasts I had said, I feel like Nick, I felt, and I still feel it, and now she kind of confirmed it. The only reason he's staying so calm is to look good on TV. Like, because you see a couple little times where he starts switching and gives like a little dig at her, and then he stops, which is respectable. I'm not dogging him for that, and I think that's smart. I mean, you are a TV personality. Like, you should know how to handle yourself. But my favorite part is how he's not mature, he's not intellectual, she's so smart, but then proceeds to say, you're so calculated. So a calculated person is smart. They are, in fact, very smart. You can't be calculated and be stupid. Otherwise, there's no calculation there. You just look dumb all over. Nick doesn't. He is very calculated. So I think he is extremely smart. He is very well composed, and now her whole thing is that why did you let me? She's done interviews. Why did you let me talk that way? You shouldn't have let me talk that way to you. You should have stopped me. And I'm like, you are just a terrible person. That
Yeah.
girl.
I want like it's easy for her to point those things out as calculated or like sneaky or is like or is he actually mature and bites his tongue and doesn't say because he's respectful because his mother told him if you don't have anything nice to say don't say anything at all and like just stay calm and maybe his dad told him stay calm there's no use and like he seems like a well brought up person that's not going to fight you and so we got to talk about this bro code thing and this
There was no bro code. That's the problem with it. Only some of them held tight. The other ones, they just threw them under the
And
bus, low key.
okay so I want to get the ladies perspective before on that before we dive into this bro code and what that means because I don't want to get misconceptions of all that.
Like how?
What's the question?
Do we think that Nick was actually thought that Hannah was not good looking and he was disappointed and he was just using her?
No. So I think maybe he made a comment about something and I think it just got blown out of proportion. And like that's like it's expected for you to like especially in this experiment where like only y'all know what this is like when you're in those spaces and you feel comfortable with the people you've been sharing your space with this whole time for you to go to your friend and be like, oh yeah, like I don't know, maybe not be mean about how she looks, but say something about the way that she looks. And I just think it got blown way out of proportion. I don't know. And then as far as like the bro code, I think Stephen should have kept his mouth shut. Is that his name? The sleep test?
Mm-hmm.
He should have kept his mouth shut because also like your opinion really doesn't matter. But
Your word doesn't matter. His word doesn't matter. It means shit.
Yeah. But even if he did say something, I don't think it would merit Hannah's cruelty. Like it was just awful. I don't know. Maybe because I didn't see it.
Well, there's a reason you didn't see it. Because he won't do it in front of people. He's not trying to make her look like shit. She does that all fine by herself.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I don't know. It seemed to me that he actually did enjoy her and like he did like her. So I don't know.
Personally think he probably did say the comment. I think he did. Because I think when men get together and they're in social settings and they're having fun, they're going to say things that are out of pocket, which when they're together, I've told Victor this, whatever you want to say with your friends about women's looks, whatever, do it with your friends. Don't ever say that shit in front of me or other women. Don't ever make a woman feel insecure about anything on her body, anything. You shouldn't be doing that as men. One day you might be fathers of daughters, you have sisters, you have mothers. You don't want any woman in your family to feel that way. You shouldn't be talking like that in front of women. But behind closed doors, if you're going to kiki with your friends, go ahead. Do whatever the hell you want. I mean, like, maybe it's not okay. You shouldn't probably be talking about the person you're going to marry on that level. But then again, this isn't a traditional relationship where they've been together like 6 years and he's hanging out with the guys and being like, oh, yeah, Hannah's a grenade. Like, but I guess I'll marry her next week. Like, you've been with her 6 years. What the hell are you talking about? I think he made a comment, thought it was being funny, being with the boys, whatever. It was a stupid comment because, obviously it's getting out there. But, I think he was just being one of the boys and not thinking about what he's really saying or the magnitude of how that makes women feel. But it was never supposed to get back to her, which also tells me, and I understand they're probably doing it to protect her, but it's also a little weird. Like if my man, like if Victor told me, oh, Nick said this about Hannah, da da da, I'd just be like, that's messed up. I'm so glad they're not getting married. Like, I wouldn't want to go share that with her. And I guess maybe it gets to a point where then maybe you do, but I'm like, but all it's going to do is bring her more insecurity and more hurt and pain. They're already not going to be together. Why make her feel worse in a way? But I guess they're probably trying to like give her like, see, he was a bad guy kind of thing, to give her some ammunition towards him. I don't know.
My issue with this is that like Hannah's has been very vocal about how she feels. He goes and talks to this Katie person, like not even 3 minutes in the door, she's down his throat. So how hurt was she with this grenade comment? Like, did this happen when the camera stopped recording? Like, when exactly did this happen? Because if she's saying that the reason why she was so mean is because he made these comments, it's like, why didn't you bring it up in any other argument? Like, I haven't heard, I've never heard that before come out of her mouth. So
I'm gonna say 100% he called her a grenade. 100% he said she's a 5 out of 10. And I don't know this for a fact, but I know it was said. I'm 100% sure it was said. I don't think he was impressed with her looks. I think they both kind of inflated their looks a lot and, stroked their egos. They said, I look like Henry Cavill. I look like this. I look like that. So they both got their hopes up. When they saw each other in person, it wasn't, their expectations were a little high and it didn't match what they looked like in person. I think he didn't like that. I think he went back to the boy and said, I think she's probably a grenade, man. She's probably 5 out of 10. Did he like her? Did he ever intend on marrying her? I don't think so, looking back at it. You can see little flashes of it. I think he understood that she is a horrible person, like, early on. But at the same time, he has an image. He sells real estate. So he kind of has an image in the sense of people come to him to do his job. He has to be likable. He has to be somebody with, maybe good morals or whatever to sell somebody a house. He wants to keep up that persona. So I think he did deal with her in a lot of ways. I think he probably wanted to say a lot of things he didn't. But I do think he was not impressed with her. I think he may have liked her. I'm not saying he didn't like her at all. I think he did like her. But I don't think he ever did intend on getting married to her. I think she picked up on that early on, maybe from things other people said or heard, or maybe just how he never really pushed back with her attitude and her bitchiness. I think she thought, what man would sit through this and not put me in my place? So she probably just thought, hey, he's not gonna say yes, so why am I in here? So not to give her an excuse, because she was completely messed up, but I do think he was not going to end up with her, even if she was going to say yes down the line. And as for bro code, there was none. Steven should have just shut up. But I think he was already in a bad position. So he was like, I got to bring everybody down with me. So, he
that's what I was
some of
thinking.
the heat off. He wanted some of the heat off of himself. Ramses was getting, attacked from all fronts. And he was holding tight for a while. And in the end, he was just like, you just got to take accountability, man. You just got to take accountability. So
accountability for what, though? Which was that's such a stupid statement, which is, I have to take accountability for things that I have a conversation in private with you, that you went ahead and told your girl, who now wants to come down my throat, when Garret heard the same shit and he didn't go and run and tell Taylor. Because what is understood in bro code is, one, Nick has to have a way better sense of, when I have private conversation with my friends, they need to understand me and sometimes understand that, like, some of the shit that I say is not like the most serious thing where you have to go and run and tell somebody and say, I think there's issues here. I think you have to hear, like, this shit is like, which I think Garret took in stride, knowing, it looks like him and Nick are buddies. He's like, he's probably, he was probably saying Hannah didn't look how she said she did in the pods. And he's like, it looks like a grenade or 5 out of 10. But what they're probably like leaving out is he probably said, but I still like her. I like her personality. And that wasn't the point of the experiment. Of course, Stephen and Ramses are going to leave that shit out and they're not going to go to bat. And then Garret did. He was just like, nah, Nick is a good guy. Who cares what he said? I'm not here. And Taylor couldn't speak up and say, this is what he said, because she didn't know. Because Garret did the right thing. It was just like, I'm not going to recount every little thing that we talk about in private conversations. The same way that I'm sure the ladies had conversations and told the guys some things about the other ladies that didn't come out and say. Like, no one there had to come out and say, did you hear what Hannah said about Nick? No, she did it herself. So this whole thing, it was like, whether he said it, yes. But it was meant to be a private conversation, and there's probably a bunch of context that we didn't get. But of course, the two guys who were getting their freaking asses reamed on TV wanted to. That's what a slime ball does. That's the guy you don't do bro code to. You got to understand.
Right.
You know, the guys who you trust, you can talk freely and they understand where you're coming from. And sleazeballs like Ramses and Stephen, who openly say, "Yeah, I'm a piece of shit." Like yeah, don't tell that fucking guy anything.
True.
So, but I do think Nick liked Hannah, and he was looking past all her flaws because he did see the things that he liked in her. Was he going to say no on the wedding day? I don't know, man. I think he's just like, I'm just going to ride with this. I like her. What would like, you know, I don't know. Maybe he's just that nice.
I don't see him doing it long term. I mean, I see that he saw her for what she was. Even like she made so many comments, like even around her friends. I think he saw it. I don't think he was going to do it. I think he had enough self-respect. I think he would have went to the altar, but he did say he wanted to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. And I think his speech, you know, that he could have said on that wedding day, his no speech could have been what he was hoping to get him into that upper echelon of legendary Love is Blind cast. I don't know. I would have loved to see it though. I would have loved to see that happen.
But how come to this point then he still hasn't bashed her? Like he still hasn't come out at every point saying, even at the reunion, he's like, I respect your opinion. It's I have a different. He didn't ever come out and bash her. He still hasn't, even though
it's not on brand. It's not on his brand to bash her. If he were to come out now and bashed her, like went in on her and you know, it makes him look like he's been fake all this time. Not saying like he can't stand up for himself, but I guess it's how he does it. So if he were to like bash her, which he you know he had every right to, it wouldn't seem true to who he portrayed over the season.
I don't think it's true to who he is. I think it's kind of hard to fake this for this long. Like he had many opportunities to like call her out. And he just never did. I just don't think, I think it was the way that he was raised. It's just like there's a level of respect that he's going to give someone no matter how cruel they are.
And like breaking up with her on wedding day wouldn't seem on brand either. Like,
well,
I don't know.
If you're getting belittled and you're getting yelled at the whole season, it's only in his defense he could say, well, you know, I took time to think about it, and you know, like I don't think it would work out. Like you don't have to be mean about it. You could just leave her at the altar, but not in a mean way. Just say, I don't think it's gonna work. I've tried. I gave it, you know, the best shot. I gave this experiment the full chance, and it just didn't work. I mean, that's the whole goal, is to get to the altar. They want people to get to the altar, even if they're gonna say no. They want them to get to the altar and make that decision there.
It would be very, like the book Laws of Power, if Nick did that. I don't know if you guys have ever read that, but it teaches you, like, it's, you know, people in jail read it and stuff to learn how to, like, win over people and get what they want out of life. And the whole thing is it teaches you from, like, back in the 1800s, all these rulers, how they always remained calm, made people think they were their friends, always made people think they were in charge, but really they were leading. It's a really interesting book, but it makes me think of Nick a little bit because he remains so calm. So I wouldn't doubt it, you know, as somebody now he's talking about these goals and stuff, that somebody that read that book to learn self-control and kind of how to control a situation by saying less is more, you know, like he doesn't have to say much, even at the reunion, not to bash her when everyone's been waiting for it, and he still doesn't give her that because she wants that. She wants him to look like the bad guy.
She does.
He's always in control. She doesn't get that out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even like the one of the comments that annoyed me was like, oh, the girls whose DMs you get into, they send them to me, and I saw them. It's like, and he's like, we're not even together.
Yeah. And
it's just like, what are you trying to show, that he's like trying to hook up with girls? You're not together. Yeah. Good for him. He should. Yeah.
She was just grasping at straws at that point. Anything she could do to make him look bad. Oh, look, he's talking to girls on Instagram. Okay. It's like, is that what you're coming up with? Yeah,
Who cares, girl? Let him.
You're going to fly her out.
Right.
Or you're going to go see her. And?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, she was grasping. It was sad. Pathetic.
And Marissa going so hard to bat for her is
Cringe.
like,
Cringe.
I think you need to fall back and pick your friends better. Like, because
Well,
what you're doing there is you're picking up a little hurt baby bird in Hannah, who's like obviously has some fucked up feelings, and you're trying to protect it like this little baby bird who's hurt in your hands and protect it with all your might. And it's just like, yeah, but what you don't realize is that bird flew into a fucking window on its own, like over and over again, and didn't learn its lesson. So yeah, it was cringe. Yeah, like you said, Raquel.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about her and Ramses and their whole segment with her mom Vanessa. I was happy she was there. I was ready to see what she had to say, and she actually handled herself quite well. I was surprised. She was very composed. I thought we would get some. I thought we were gonna get some rowdy.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of their segment?
No Rattail. Who had the no Rattail?
Yes, sir. I knew
He got flamed enough to decide to cut it off.
Yeah, and then nobody brought it up. Disappointed.
I know. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Except for her mom.
Nick could have brought it up easily.
Nobody...
Nick Lachey could have brought it up.
They talking about everybody else's glow up in hair. They don't like them. They don't.
Don't.
Both of them. And when Nick doesn't like you, that's telling.
I know,
and you can
right?
tell, yeah.
Yeah. Nick was openly shitting on him. Like
he was.
No offense. This guy over here, but it's like, okay.
No offense, you fucking rat face motherfucker. Nick, when'd you turn into Scarface over here?
I'm dead. Yeah, I was kind of shocked how raw her emotions still were even a year later. Like she was easily brought to tears thinking of the whole thing. But he's such a piece of shit. Like I just can't. I closed my eyes. I couldn't watch that segment. I was just listening, but like I didn't want to. He didn't even deserve my eyes on him, to be honest. I couldn't give him that.
I was telling Nora he played his part perfectly. He lulled her into this false sense of security. He's like, yeah, I'll stay at home. I'll watch the kids. I'll do this. I'll do that. He was so open and so progressive until it came down to the sex. Said no condom. What? You going? No, that was it. So I was saying,
but like,
I think for him,
do we think that was it? That was like the it?
Yes.
That is crazy to me.
No,
But no, I do think it's telling. I do think that like that's like luring her into a false sense of security is so right, Victor, because I'm okay with your military background, or I'm okay, with your personality. I like it and stuff like that, until it all started changing. Like, actually, I oppose your military background. I prefer not to promote it. Or nah, this sex thing. And he says, like, we talked about it. We came to a decision for us. No, you probably like were on the issue where you finally like changed your mind somehow, probably because it had to be your way. And then it just came down to the personality. It's like, oh, what I told you that I love your personality. Actually, I changed my mind. I don't. It was this whole, you wanted to win. It almost seems like you wanted to win her over just to be like, all right, what do I actually think? Nah, I'm not into it.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
I think this season of Guys, their main trait was deception. So they all. At first, I was like, these guys, I don't know, man. They seem all very sensitive and and too soft. But then as season went on, they were all showing their true colors, and I was just like, I knew it.
Yeah, that's why you don't want all these betas. You want these alpha males. Yeah, we're the fucking best, and because they're not deceptive at all. They wear it all on their sleeves. They're pieces of shit. Yeah. But you could see they're pieces of shit. Yeah. Except for Garret. Garrett's the man.
Yeah, he's
Garret and Taylor protect them.
So far, let's see.
True.
Well, he's out of nowhere. He's like, I'm into the fashion, always been. It's like, what the fuck did you wear on your season? What is? I Love Is Blind. That say you were into fashion.
Yeah,
she definitely.
He didn't have an excuse to dress up like that.
She's his muse.
Yes.
All right, I buy that.
We need to get to the couple where I think social media.
Wait, one thing.
Okay.
Hold on, one thing. The mother disappointed. She said one thing where it's like, I wanted to punch him in the throat. Like, nah, go in.
Yeah,
go in.
Punch him.
You went harder on him when they were fiancé than you did when he broke up with her.
Well, because she got what she wanted.
She said, she didn't want them to be together. So I think that was the most honest thing she said to him is, thank you. Like, thank you. Because she didn't want him around. He wasn't good enough for her daughter. So he did her the favor. Just thank you. Thank you for not going through with it and trying to take money from my daughter, making me come out of character and have to beat your ass in an alleyway. Like, thank you.
The mom won.
Yeah. The one thing I will say to Marissa is don't replace the lost relationship with Ramses with shitty friendships with Hannah. Just move on. Move on from this whole experiment.
Absolutely.
Because I do like her. I think she's really nice and I'm rooting for her. But
Nick said it perfectly.
That was not
her personality. I was saying the same thing. She's bubbly, and he was dulling that shine. Like, let her go find somebody that lets her be this bubbly, happy. Life is, go chase everything. Little deer or something, like a little deer, their little tail, doughy-eyed. That's what she reminds me of. And go find a man that embraces that and just grows with that.
I think he definitely felt threatened by her experience in the military, her going to law school, just like, even though he was okay with it, I think like he felt kind of emasculated almost, so he had to like, steal her shine. But who knows what he was thinking, but he was just it's not even worth dissecting. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah, nobody wants to care about a guy that wears rat tails. Who cares what he's thinking?
Or those clown-ass pants.
Yeah,
his fashion sense is horrible.
The one fashion part I missed, and I didn't talk about, I totally forgot, was when they're in that argument before he breaks it off with her, he's in a full-on thong when he stands up. Like, you see the thong. Yeah, you see the thong. You see his hips. And like,
thank God.
So maybe a little
thank gosh, I didn't notice that.
I was like,
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, maybe he was a little cranky because that thong was up high. That was a high-rise thong.
He probably want to go to a Diddy party.
Nasty business. Nasty business. Well, there's no condoms at a Diddy party, so he should be happy with that.
Steven and him could go and probably hang out. They could be best bros because they're probably into the same shit, I feel. But anyways, off track. We'll get to Steven, but not yet. I think the one couple I see on social media and across when I talk to people about Love is Blind this season, the most mixed reviews on who is in the wrong, who is right, whose side, has to be Alex and Tim. It is so split between people. I see debates and comments. Who is right, who is wrong between this couple? And we watched it again on stage. I still sitting there, I felt like I was at a tennis match. I was like, I don't feel like we got anywhere with them. Every other couple, we summed it up. With them, I feel like we just went in a circle and we never got anywhere. What did you guys think? Where do we stand? Who's right? Who's wrong with them?
Man.
I told y'all 2 weeks ago, she called him a little bitch. I called it, and that's exactly because the bitchness flows from him. Oh, so plentiful.
That's crazy.
Yo, I've never seen someone so bitchy on television. It's not about being man or woman, but such a bitchy man. Damn,
You
man.
just said it's not about man or woman.
I've never seen such a bitchy man. Just like, yeah, we talked about communication, and I had to wait so long that day to talk to you. Like, dog, she just came off from being a bottle girl at the club, like at 4 a.m. Of course, she don't want to talk to nobody.
Well, he's actually really mad because she threw something out of his. That was his.
Oh, did she?
These. She threw these out.
Oh, she brought the
threw these
props.
out.
That's crazy
She
work.
threw these out, and he got mad.
Yeah, she brought the
His
props.
baba.
Aw.
She's
That's
like,
why
no
he has
more
that
this.
pouty face.
Yes, so
Oh,
he's
shit.
whining.
Oh my gosh.
I had to.
Yeah, it just wasn't gonna work. In the pods, he was too like heavy
Perfect.
with everything. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give." Like we talked about, he wants to give. Oh, my sister. This is from my sister. I'm like, come on, man. You don't give somebody you just met. I don't care if pods or what. That's something you keep until you even pass on to your own children. You don't give that to some girl that's not even your wife yet. So once he did that, I was like, nah, something's not right with this guy.
I'll give you the number one thing if anybody wants to know who's right and who's wrong. I just want to give this perspective. When you truly are in love with someone, the one thing you do is you don't throw it in their face, the things that they told you is important that you do for them. Because what he was doing the whole time in the reunion was showing that for him, it's a transactional relationship. He's like, I gave this much to you. I did this for your father because you told me it was important. And I felt that you didn't give enough back to me. And so you're just counting like favors and it's not a transaction, dog. If you wanted to do it, you do it. And if you don't want to do it, you don't do it. But don't do it just to throw it in her face because that's fucking bitch assness. It's just like it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
I don't care what he said. He was checked out after that whole fight back in Cabo. 100%.
He was checked out.
The way he
He
looked
got
at her,
shaking at the reunion. He was like
the way he looked at her,
shaking
he was
visibly.
done in Cabo. He was done way back in Cabo, and he just maybe to make himself look a little better, or I don't know why he would stay, but he was done after Cabo, 100%.
It's just and the thing that like bothers me is that if we want to believe her story where she was like, I went into the bathroom, I needed some space, she was going through this situation. I get his perspective that he like, and he kept saying it like, oh, my fiance, somebody that I love, that I'm gonna try and figure out what's wrong with them. But like, if she wants space, that is what she wants. So like, if you love her, give her the space. But then you want to have this argument because maybe she doesn't want to tell you right now and doesn't want to get it just became something much bigger. Let her cry. Just sit there next to her. Don't even talk. Just like let her be. And I think it feels like, I don't know, he just wants the woman to just do whatever he wants, how he wants, and give him the time of day when he wants. I don't know.
I think their communication styles, obviously one's an internalizer, one's an expressor. And when you have such a short amount of time to magically be making that work for a marriage, it's just not going to. I mean, couples
Yeah.
spend years trying to balance it. Couples have been married 40 years, and they're still trying to work on that because one is more, I want to internalize. They just find a better balance and a better understanding and know when they can push things and not. But as such a fresh couple, I think their communication styles are way so different. And I don't think I think that just set the tone. There was no hope. There was no going back after that fight. She was going through something on a deeper level that probably, you don't know him that well, that you don't really want to communicate too much about it, and you're trying to process it yourself. Especially when it's a sick relative. It's not like, oh, I hurt my, toe. It's hard to express. She said her father went to the rehab. Like, well, he's still here,
Mm-hmm.
so it's probably hard to express why I'm crying so much, but it is a big deal. So kind of you would get it, but would you really get it unless you have family members who have went through it? So I think it just kept escalating and escalating, and then
But the way he makes it seem in that moment, even from his words, is he wasn't secure in that moment where she wasn't thinking about him like her fiance. She was thinking about her family, her dad, and for him to kind of turn it around and make it about him, and then doing this whole clutching my pearls thing is like, she called me something that was not the name that was given when I came to this earth. Like, bro, shut the fuck up.
Fuck up.
Like, but he made that moment about him when it wasn't. It was about her and her feelings with the father, and you just got to stay out of it and just do what you need there. But he made it seem like he made it seem like he wasn't being made to feel secure in that moment. Bro, it's not about you.
But I don't know if she vocalized. I think she even said that she didn't get a chance to tell. I don't know if she didn't get the chance to, or she just, in her emotions, she didn't get a chance to tell him why she was feeling that way. So maybe that's why he was trying to figure out, like, what's going on. Did I do something wrong? Did somebody say something to you? Do I need to do this or that? And she maybe just didn't vocalize it. And
I think that's okay.
It's human.
It's human. People are not entitled to know. I don't care if you're my mom walking in right now. If you ask me what's wrong and I cannot express it right now, give me the space. That's it. Just let me process on my own. Like, you're not entitled to know how I feel just because of my relationship with you. You're not entitled to my feelings, period. Like, just wait patiently. Just fucking wait, and I will tell you. Just let me live with it.
Yeah, the thing about that is, like I said, it was a human moment for her. Was there a mistake there? Maybe, yeah, by her. Sure. The thing is, the way he describes it, he's holding her to a very impossible standard. So, all right, then you're trying to break up, but it's like his standards are impossible. Is like, you always need to be communicative or things like that, or I'm gonna have my doubts, or I'm gonna feel like you're not giving me your all, and it's just like,
yeah.
Shit.
And just because she's not saying what he wants to say doesn't mean that she's not communicative. Because if she says, I don't want to talk about it, that's communicating. You just don't like what you're hearing. So, like, fuck you and just go cry somewhere. I'm so over him.
I do think that she was trying to protect his image in a sense, because they didn't mention that she put her hand over his mouth. So I think she was just telling him, like, yo, chill, so production doesn't come in.
Yeah.
Hold on. Did you guys buy this? He was like, I wasn't screaming. My voice carries.
No, he was definitely screaming.
He has so many excuses.
But he was sounding good, though, with them. My voice carries. I was like, okay.
My voice carries?
I'm going to use
it's
that
not gaslighting, but it's
it's
something
gaslighting.
Else.
It's straight up gaslighting.
Maybe.
It's like, no, I wasn't screaming. My voice carries. So
it's like he's gaslighting himself. He's
yeah,
sniffing the gas
the
himself,
problem.
and he's like
that's
sniffing some
problem.
glue. It's like,
nobody else believes it.
I think he thinks way too highly of himself.
He does. And, like, even if your voice does carry, that's why you gotta shut the fuck up. Because your voice carries. So shut the fuck up. Like, I can't stand people like him.
And by the way, over communicator, because he's another one who heard what Nick was saying and ran and told Alex, and is like, oh, you can't believe this. Like, bro, just stop telling your man's business to other people.
He's a little bitch.
No loyalty. Damn.
You're gonna get him shaken. You're gonna be shaken. All right. Well, we can't talk about the bros without talking about our other sleep fan, Mr. Stephen.
I just want to say first that Nigeria does not claim him at all. He has been rejected.
Well, you trying to throw him on the Guyanese or something?
Yeah, they could have him.
He
could have the second-rate jello fries. Ghana.
No, now we're gonna get flagged. They're gonna take our videos now. We're gonna have the president of all right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what was happening. I just have to point this out. The whole woo woo woo, everything he kept doing, and
Ayo.
I couldn't understand. Ayo. Like, what the hell is this? But that's beside the point.
Nobody's gonna
That's beside
believe
the
me,
point.
Nick. What if I talk? Nobody's gonna believe me.
Oh my god.
You guys gonna believe
Another
me? Are you
gaslighter.
guys?
Oh my
It was
gosh.
funny.
Where did they find these people this season?
I don't
Like,
know.
you
I don't
go to
know.
the
It's a good
local
question.
what? Like, I don't know. There's
The
something
thing
wrong with
is,
him.
he's so quick to apologize because he thinks that that's like just take ownership, just take accountability. But it's like, we know you haven't learned shit. We know you haven't learned shit. What are you apologizing for, man? Do you feel bad? Did you want to marry her? Of course I did. It's like, no, you didn't, because you fucking did that shit.
Well, no, he did because he's broke. He had nowhere probably to stay, nowhere to pay his bills, so he needed to marry somebody. So he did. He's upset and trying to get back his rent paid, you know? Ain't nobody love you more than a broke man. I mean, and that's the truth. A broke man will move you in. It doesn't matter. I mean, he'll still cheat on you, but a broke man will move you in just to pay those bills.
It has some signs of like psychopathy because the way that he just when he was apologizing and then he's just like, how much more responsibility can I take, and then when he was talking about like his actions and he was like, I knew my demons, I knew I was gonna fall right back into my demons, so I stopped. Like, okay.
So in reality, what he's saying is we should all be proud of him, and Monica should have been proud of him that he didn't continue on the weird ass conversation. Like, not that it was bad. We should all be
Wait a second.
thanking him.
Can we dissect what he said? He was talking to this person about a heart condition, and then she said, "You have some fetishes." What? Is like the fetish tachycardia? Is it like? What? I'm so confused.
Oh, that's crazy.
How we got to that point?
But he also said, I don't remember. I deleted it. Like, he said that earlier. I don't remember what was said. I deleted it. Then he goes to recall everything that happened. And then he said he doesn't delete it. So I'm like, like, did you delete it? Not delete it?
And then he said, I've never talked to this person. This was the first time I talked to him off Instagram. And then it was like, oh no, there's text for months, maybe years before that.
I don't delete any of my
You're still
threads.
lying, bro.
I deleted
You're still
this
lying.
one. It's like, but then she read it, so I'm like,
No, it's
too
probably
many
like all talk
consistencies.
about the pacemaker fetish. Ooh, I love when it buzzes my heart. That pacemaker.
See,
It
you
could
guys
be.
say he was at the sleep study. I'm gonna counter and say he was at some kinky shit. He wasn't at a sleep study. All those wires and shit. He was getting ready. He wasn't at no sleep study. He took a picture like, oh look, he's not. That was no sleep study. Hell
We're
no.
gonna
Not even
turn up
question.
your oxygen.
Yeah. Nick was like, so you got a CPAP machine? Like, a
nah,
woman. Like, we're gonna clock this. Like, you get the...
What's that?
No.
Nah, he
but-
was. I think he was at some kind of kinky shit. They was
And he
strapping
was
him up,
definitely
getting ready
blasted.
Oh, yeah.
at the sleep
Did
study.
you see him? He was drunk as hell. He looked drunk as hell.
Yeah.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Oh, at the reunion. Oh, for the
Yeah.
reunion.
No,
at
the
At the sleep study. Yeah. I'm saying. I don't think he was there. I'm saying. Could have been some fetish shit. I'll dress up as a patient. And you use their do open heart surgery on me or some shit. I don't know.
Ready for my sponge bath. But
I don't know.
where are you gonna put that catheter now?
Ew. There's only one place to put it. Are there multiple? Ew.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they go ATM with the catheter. I don't know.
Oh god.
Ugh.
You never go ATM.
Okay, I went there. All right.
Ugh. Well,
Oh,
in
man.
the end, I think Monica handled herself fine. She stayed kind of quiet. She could have dogged him worse. She kind of just said her truth and kept it pushing. I think she just wants to be
Wait.
done and not associated with him.
Did she have was she right about the parent letter? That shit sent me.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
it made me think of Tim because Tim wrote the letter and they're boys. So I automatically was like, oh, Tim told him, write that letter. And then at the reunion, I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt like Tim hoed him on that because he gave him that advice. I don't know why. Because I don't think Steven's that when we talk about calculated, Stephen is not calculated. He's dumb as shit. He
He's
couldn't
so
think that
dumb.
out. Tim definitely was like, write that letter, give it to her parents, and then at the reunion, you
Yeah.
point that out. Like
She'll believe it,
he,
bro. She'll love it.
yeah, yeah. He hoed him on that. That was Tim, I feel. That's my opinion on
Oh.
that damn letter. But
Oh my gosh.
that's
She
all they
called us
have
like,
really to offer.
you wrote it just to bring it up that you wrote it
I
at the
knew it.
reunion was.
I knew it. You were gonna bring it up.
Oh my
yep.
gosh. Wait, so I know we talked about her missing the red flags in the pods, and they addressed that as like he told you he cheated. Were you guys satisfied with their answer?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like, through all of this, of course, right? Like we said, even with Ashley and Tyler, there's missing pieces. So maybe, yeah, maybe there's so much more conversations that we're missing. But he was working on it. He was this and this. Maybe to her, but is that because he was really working on it, or you really wanted to hope that this man was worthy of marrying, so you're hoping he was working through it? There's a difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it. I think if she didn't see that as a red flag, to me it's like she didn't ask him, "Hey, have you ever cheated on someone?" He literally mid sentence interrupted her and said, "Oh, wait, hold on, I have something to say. Once upon a time, I cheated on someone. Like nobody asked you, so like for her to like not see that as a red flag, I don't know. Like
She's probably like green flag. Thanks for telling me.
And to be fair, maybe she's colorblind because she said I've dated a lot of cheaters and he
she
sounded
did say
different.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Because
girl, get those eyes checked then.
I do believe that he is going to therapy because clearly he's regurgitating these like buzzwords. So I think that's what made it appealing to her. Like, oh, he's grown. He's like learned from it.
He's
Where
read a lot of
clearly
books.
He's read a lot of books, you know, and the Nigerian part also like definitely gave him some points.
Elevated him. He probably wasn't even
my gosh.
Nigerian, man. It's probably all a shame.
Yeah, loser. He's a loser. Not Nigerians. I'm talking about Stephen.
I mean, good riddance. Whoever ends up with that man, good luck the rest of your life. And I don't need any context clues or anything of that relationship to already know the hell you're gonna go through with that man. But all right,
I think he should follow up with that aorta ventricle thotty that he was talking to. That
yeah,
might have a future.
They might.
We'll see.
yeah. All right, let's get to, and this one will be quick because really, what can we say more than Taylor and Garrett, the happy couple, the quiet couple? We watched the eyes kind of sway when Garrett speaks up a little bit for our boy Nikki D, and some of the girls start talking, and we see, I like that Taylor, she like sat up and she's like watching if she needs to step in and like correct somebody if they go too hard, but I think they all realize they're a couple that's pretty bonded. Nobody's gonna call him out of name. Like she was staring her down, ready, like call him a little bitch. Watch what happens. But they seem
Yeah.
happy. I mean, I can't. There's nothing really else to report on them.
Could you tell that both her and Ashley didn't talk during that moment, during that exchange? Maybe it was edited out, but they could see is like, wow. I think some of these women were wrong, but I think they were all like ganging up on the Nick in that moment, and they were just like, "This is childish. This is so petty." It's like whether he called her out, and Taylor was just like, "I don't really care. Garrett has his little friends, but
Yeah.
we're married. This is like more serious."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not worth jeopardizing. If it was something that was actually detrimental or something like crucial, it's done and over with. You said horrible things about his appearance. He's not as big. He's not this. Who cares at that point? So I was
That's
proud
true.
that she kind of just who cares? And I think she's mature enough to definitely realize that, like, who cares? Like, you're not with him. You're not, I'm not going to stand up for a girl. Like, stand up for yourself. You're misdirect. You're a bitch. You should be able to stand on your own 2 feet with no support of anyone. But it seems like she's the one that needs the most support. Like, all these people have to come to her defense. But that's
Yeah.
not
And
stuff.
she was way insecure way before he called her a grenade. So that ain't changed shit.
That's true.
That's crazy. Well, I am happy
Oh,
for Garrett and Taylor. I
Oh, yeah,
picked them.
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, went off track there. But they were the couple I chose. I already knew it was gonna work. The nerd shit always works. So yeah, I was happy for her. But
nerds.
she's an interesting person because she's a nerd, but she kind of doesn't present herself like one. You know, it's weird. She has a weird, interesting dynamic, but I mean, it works. So she's still a nerd.
Yeah, it's
why do
interesting.
not all nerds have to fit in one box?
Yeah,
What
I
does a
think
nerd look like?
I think they look like white men, and she doesn't look like a white man. So it's different.
Excuse
to you,
me.
which I get. she she doesn't look like a scientist, but they're so cute together. Like, I mean, two people that have never met before, that randomly chosen on a show, who are both scientists, who both have like a scientific like periodic element tattooed on their arm. Of course you're meant to be. Like, there's no other confirmation you need. Like, that's
Word.
I was sold when they revealed they have those tattoos.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
And the fact that they
collectively,
understood
I
what
think we're all happy.
each of those tattoos were, I was like, oh, yep, that's it. Because
Yeah.
nobody else in those pods, I'll tell you, Nikki D wasn't going to get that one. I'll tell you that much. He was not going to get. So,
Well,
what now?
what about
Like,
Hannah, the smart, most intellectual cast member? Is Hannah?
no.
Do you think she would guess that? She's the most intellectual.
No.
She's in a different level. Different level.
I do want to say about Taylor and Garrett. It was interesting to find out on the show that they tried moving to San Diego. It wasn't working out for them, so they moved back to DC. What I think is a testament to that is I still don't believe in the experiment in Love is Blind. I still think it's bullshit. But they were the two like most well-adjusted people on the show, and so when they have impasses like that, they just figure it out and they just talk it out. And so I think they just got lucky that they met two kind of counterparts that work well together, that can talk this shit out. If living on one side of the country doesn't work out, they can move back. It's not because sight unseen, it's just like that. It's just like everybody else on the show, most people on the show, like, they had their flaws, they had things that they have to work on with themselves, where it was just going to be an impasse with their partner. But good for them. I still don't I think the experiment is nutso, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I think that's due to their profession. I think as scientists, like, you need evidence, you need data, you need trial and error, you need to experiment to figure out if something's going to work. So I think they went into it maybe subconsciously with this idea of like, all right, I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, great. If it works, great. And so like these impasses that they go through, they figure out a way, because there's always a solution to a problem. It's basic math. And I think that's great. I think everybody should think like that.
I see what you did there. I like it. I do think out of all the cast members, that there were two, probably the only two, that were truly, genuinely ready to actually be married, which is why they could, talk things through and solve things out. And, I think they're already mentally in that place, which made it a lot easier for them. I don't think anybody else in the cast, I would say, I don't think anyone else was ready to be in a marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, even with Ashley and Tyler, I think they're compatible. I think there's some things in a relationship where they have to grow up and into the marriage, and hopefully they can do that. Because I I don't root against them, so hopefully they can do that. But they needed more time. They took the leap, and hopefully they can figure it out. But no, you're right. Taylor and Garret seem ready. Everything else kind of in their life was together, and they were kind of the one thing they were missing for each other, which is beautiful, but still crazy.
Right.
Should we jump into Leo and go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Leo and Brittany. That's our last couple, and we actually got to hear a little bit more this time. It was enjoyable to kind of see what they're up to, besties. What did we think about that?
Obsessed. I'm obsessed with Leo. I am 1,000% a Leo, like Team Leo.
Is it the
I find
rapping
him very
skills?
obnoxious.
Is that what got you?
No. I found him to be very obnoxious in the season, but the way that he is able to like truly articulate an apology, I'm like, okay, so he actually means it. And I do believe that he feels that he looks like an ass talking about like Rolexes and money constantly. So I think he's shown genuine growth, and I think he should try again. I think they should invite him back on another season.
I think they do.
I think he deserves
backsies.
it. I think he wants it. No,
Just give him
listen.
They put him on another.
name.
There's
Just
another
go with
show
a
for that.
different name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's another show for that.
What's the other show?
Perfect Match, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
It's on
Perfect Match
Netflix.
brings them all.
Oh yeah.
It's actually
The,
pretty good, I would say.
the only likable thing about Tim this whole reunion was his speech regarding Leo to me. Like the only time I enjoyed listening to Tim talk the whole night was when he was like, Leo's actually a really good guy, and he maybe talks too much about his role. It was the most genuine I felt we saw Tim be, and it was about how I feel like kind of what we're all seeing in Leo. I think he didn't realize he was coming off that way. He takes accountability for it. He's working on it, and he's okay. He can laugh at it too a little bit. His TikToks are hilarious. They get me every time with his little when he came out, he did them. And that for sure for Brittany is not her kind of man, but they're besties, and I love that for them. I could see them being good friends.
Yeah.
I wonder how much nerves played into it, and like he came into this house and this situation, into the pods, and he's like, I'm just gonna talk about all this stuff and ramble on. And he seems like a guy that if you just let him go and he's nervous, he's just gonna go and talk and kind of dig himself a hole. And so I shoot him some bail on that. And we kind of called it on the whole manipulative thing with Hannah and Brittany, where he's just like, he just wanted the decision to be up to him and not made for him. Yeah, so it was immature, but he knows that, so it's good for him.
Yeah, he's very self-aware, and I was impressed. I'm like, okay. You got points.
It seems like Netflix was well aware, or Nick and Vanessa were well aware that we were all like, why didn't you take him to Mexico? It's just weird. Did you guys buy that explanation?
Not fully. I think she told him. She's like, I don't think I want to go.
Yeah, I don't know, because Love is Blind has never struck me as like the love ethic police, where they're like, we want real genuine love. Like, for crying out loud, last season they dragged Megan Fox through the mud.
Damn, they did.
Like, to embarrass her, and now all of a sudden you have the heart of Cupid to just like care about love. Fuck that. That's a lie. Sorry, it's not water in here. Sorry, babe, I lied.
Why are you making it seem like I'm measuring your alcohol intake? What do I look like, Tim?
No.
Don't go take a nap. You better not nap.
Oh man.
Listen, she never takes naps. I'm taking naps when my mom is here. She's the one who calls her to come over. They're drinking buddies. I'm just like,
You're right.
let me go sleep because I can't stand y'all two together.
Okay. I forgot what happened, but
No, I feel a little vindicated there. I was just like, I think to a certain extent, Love Is Blind was like, all right, we know they're not going to get married. This girl does not want to go to Mexico. We're not going to force them. I think she said something too, and it's like, and they went to Miami, and when she reveals like my best friend was there the whole time, I was like, you were third wheeling it, like they were third.
Yeah.
Leo was just a third wheel there, where you and your friend had a vacation. Like this was never going to happen. Why don't just be real? It's like, you dumped him.
And Leo probably paid for it too.
Yep.
Oh,
So she got a free vacation out of it.
Of course.
Yeah. Because he felt horrible about what he did to her. So then,
Free vacation.
How do you guys feel about her explanation that there were like these quirks that were off, like when he would drink out of her drink?
I can
believe that shit.
I could see 100%.
Yeah,
He seems like the kind of guy who would be like, my James, now like some shit like that.
Let me get a sip. Yum, 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 yum. Like making it as he goes there.
just that alone, I feel like the
shit.
thing is enough for her to be like, hell no. Like, that is, I don't think Brittany's into that.
She's like, fuck,
he looks
can
like
I do
the
this
kind
the rest of my life?
No.
No
amount of Rolexes.
As soon as he said, your drink is yummy, she was like, I can't sleep with this guy. I can't marry him. He was like, he describes drinks as like, yummy. Nah.
She went to the producers and like, I'm not going to Mexico. I'm going to tell you right the hell now. Don't put me on that plane. I'm not going.
These
things are not going in a bikini in Mexico. I'm telling you now.
She definitely got. I think she got another boob job because
they're up
there.
there.
Right? They're up there.
Very Pamela Anderson, like Baywatch style.
Yeah.
And her hair kind of was same Pam Ann.
Barbie like.
Yeah.
Very plastic looking. But good for her.
Some
She
girls
seems
like that.
alright.
They like that Barbie look, I think that's what she's going for.
She's trying to portray herself in a certain way to get a certain type of man. So
Yeah.
With money.
Money.
Well, that was it. Other than the other couples we didn't really care about. I'm sorry, I just don't. That were on the couches from last season.
They showed us new cast members for next season. Like, why? I don't fucking care. Like, why would you show me that? I don't know who they are.
No, no, we're talking. We're like, this is not it.
Shut
Minneapolis is not it.
But,
Whatever they brought, they should have brought their A. I hope that wasn't their A game.
Yo,
I'm just...
those are definitely people who did not get married. They were fugly as fuck.
Thinking.
Love is blind, but they ain't.
Until they saw
But they ain't desperate.
Like, oh, nah.
Yo,
I was like,
dead.
that's what Minneapolis brought? Like those three?
Come on, I know Minneapolis got better than that, 100%.
They look
But
like
you know what?
characters out of Family Guy or something.
I know.
Yo, facts.
What
Yo,
is this?
yes. Good one.
I was just waiting for the one guy to be like, "Huh."
Oh shit, that's explaining exactly what I was thinking.
Well, they're gonna put to the test if Love is Blind. It makes sense. I mean,
They're fucked.
how many grenades will be dropped? Grenade count next season. We'll have to wait on that.
Yeah, Valentine's Day 2025. Let me put that on my calendar right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, no dates, no
we have
dinners.
plans.
No.
Ooh,
Love is
actually,
Blind.
wait, are you guys off for President's Day? Because, like, that sounds like a trip to Houston.
Oh shit!
No,
I don't think they
I'm not
believe in
offering
that in
anything.
Houston.
Oh.
Man.
The one state I thought would do President's Day doesn't.
They don't believe in a lot of things here. I don't know. I don't
We're
think.
an at-will state, so they make us work everything.
But shit, that's a Monday, right?
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Y'all don't get
Monday after
Juneteenth?
No, we don't. Well, I don't have
They could
Juneteenth
have
off.
tried.
I wrote about that today in my
tried.
survey. I was like, we don't get Juneteenth off. This is kind of sus, guys. It's a federal holiday.
But the
MLK
whole
Day?
thing happened on Juneteenth happened in Texas. They rode the horses
Yeah.
to Texas.
They didn't ride it far enough, I guess. It's a big
We
state.
get to Houston. Got stuck up in Dallas. Didn't come down here.
Dallas ain't getting no Juneteenth off either. If we're not, they're definitely not.
Yeah,
They might
we
make
should
them
figure
work
something
extra
out. That'd be
hours.
cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be.
Any parting words about this season as a whole? Top season, mid season. I definitely think it wasn't one of the worst. There was a lot of good stuff, but
I'm gonna give it high mid. Like it wasn't a top. I had high hopes. Reunion was a little bit of a letdown, honestly.
Yeah.
It wasn't as fire as it could have been. I mean, we had some things here and there, but I give it like mid, but top mid, but not a top.
Yeah, same.
yeah. I think season 6 was also like a really crazy season, that this was like a little bit of a drop off, so
Yeah.
I agree.
And plus, that next season's gonna suck. I can already tell.
Yeah.
We're gonna be dying for like Steven's fetishes when we're watching these
Right.
fucking Minneapolis, snooze fest.
But I'm curious to see how they're gonna explain themselves in the pods. Like, when they try to drop little hints about how they look and stuff. So I think it'll be interesting. I think the pods may be more interesting than meeting.
They're gonna be like Meg the Stallion, Meg Griffin.
Can we
People are gonna
commit?
flame us.
Can we commit to watching it blindfolded or whatever people do? They
Yes,
don't.
yes.
They cover
I
the
think we should
screens.
do that, even though we already saw 3 of them, but we won't know. I don't remember their
I will
names.
remember them.
I'm sure they were rejects anyway, so they didn't make
Either
it
the
out.
rejects or the 3 big stars. I don't know. You don't know.
Oh, speaking of rejects, the best friend Katie, how she's like right? That was her
Oh.
name. She
Segue.
felt
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, speaking of
And then-
rejects,
This was the highlight of Marissa's mother when she was like, she made you wait a whole year to say it was okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
She was like instigating that shit. I was like, go off,
Yeah, but
Vanessa.
And she's not wrong. And this is what I said earlier. Hannah gets away with a lot. Like, why hasn't someone sat her down and said, "You're a fucking cunt. You're a bitch." Oh, sorry. Like,
I'm sure her mom did. Her mom looked doesn't look like she likes her at all.
But like, take it seriously. Like, she needs to lose a really good friend so that she knows like she has to change. I'm sorry, therapy is not going to help. It's not. I'm telling you right now, it will.
I don't
not
even
help.
think she has real friends. I think the girls in the pods, because it's an experiment, whatever, their best friend, just like she said, Katie was her best friend in the world.
They're all best
That tells me she doesn't really have real friends. If that's what you consider a best friend, she probably doesn't, other than her brother or whatever, like her siblings are probably her best friends. I don't think she really has real friends.
Yeah, like
I don't
she
think you
should not
can
be.
when you behave that way.
Yeah, and for Katie to be so devastated about like this one comment, like that tells me a lot about how you feel about yourself. Like, fuck this girl. You just met her. Like, why are you so sad? Move on. Let's
you
go.
sent her flowers.
Yeah.
You sent her flowers a year later, bro. I'm sorry. I can't. These people. This show reveals a lot about like humanity.
Yeah, we suck. Yeah,
Well,
it'll take over.
Love is not blind, but friendship is something. I don't know. Cheers. Thanks
Cheers,
for
y'all.
a
Great job,
great
Leo.
season.
Crazy beat.
And we'll see ya for season 8.
Bye.
Bye.